Hello everyone, today I am going to tell you something about Tata Tiago EV. It's a very honest review, honest in the sense that I have driven this EV for 34,000 kilometers. People who are actually doing the review of Tata Tiago EV or any EV, they have not driven the car themselves. They are doing the review for a new EV or it is a paid review. So they will not tell you the bad points of the EV, they'll only tell you the good points of EV because it's a paid review. And a person who has not driven the EV cannot give a good review. They can only give you the review about the specifications which is there on paper. But I am telling you the practical things. I mean, because I have driven for 34,000 kilometers, so definitely I know a thing or two about what the EV is all about. So now let's first look at the styling. It's a very good compact EV. It's a very decent car like any other good small car. It is very good looking and it is very strong also. It is very curvy and it has got sharp edges also wherever required, and it is very strong. And I mean, that's the significant part of Tata car, that it is very strong, very robust, and sideways also it is good. The back portion of the car is also good. It is very good looking, very decent design. So 8 out of 10 on design. And then I'll open the dicky. As you saw that there is no button of dicky over here, and this dicky is, I mean, is not governed by central locking system. So this is a flaw, that I mean there is no button over here. We are looking at the car in the year 2024. So there should have been a lock, the push lock over here, but it is not there. But dicky has got good amount of space. You can keep your luggage like in any small car. The battery is inside this, so it doesn't eat up any space. The battery is just inside this, so it doesn't eat up the space, and it has got ample amount of space to keep your luggage. And back seat, it's a very good comfortable car. It has got good headroom, it has got good leg room and very comfortable seating. So no cost cutting over here, but definitely in dicky they have done cost cutting. And let's move on to the front, my dear little cameraman. So if you see inside, see my variant is third variant from bottom. So it is a first variant of the big battery one. So I mean, first of all, Tata has got too many variants. It is not needed, but I mean, it's just the Indian mentality of India. When car manufacturers come to India, even the foreign ones, they actually put a lot of variant. They take out features from the base variant, they put some other variant just to, I mean, extract more money from customer. I am yet to see a car manufacturer who says that, okay, I am giving you two variant, the manual one and the automatic one, and I want you to enjoy all the accessories, all the specifications, all the facilities of the car, but yet to know a car manufacturer who can say this. So all car manufacturers, they do, I mean, they place a lot of variants, which is all unnecessary. It is all cost cutting, and we expected from Tata AIV a lot of features which MG gives, but Tata Tiago doesn't give. So I mean, it's a very decent looking dashboard. It's a very decent looking car, and everything is very neat and clean. It's got dual color tone styling, but still lot is left to be desired. And in the year 2024, we want a car which is little more savvy, little more good looking, but it is still very decent. Overall console, everything is very decent. Now coming on to this screen is a 7-inch capacitive screen, but it's a very slow screen. I mean, you can see over here, I mean, it touches very slow. The screen is very unresponsive. So Tata has done unnecessary cost cutting over here, and the resolution of screen is very less. So in my variant, Tata didn't give the back camera, so I got it fixed from the outside market. And since the screen was the screen resolution was very low, so I couldn't get a good camera over here. So the camera quality is not good from outside market also, because my screen resolution is bad. So you can see over here, it's a very unresponsive dial also. I'll come to this. Now the camera is not very good because the screen is not supporting the camera, so I'm not unable to put good cameras over here. So this is a deficiency. This is unnecessary cost cutting by Tata, and they should have avoided this. Now coming to this gear selector, see, it has got R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive, and S for sports mode. So I mean, sometimes during traffic, the gear selector doesn't work properly. It has got a lag. It is very slow. And if you're in a rush, if you're in a crowded area and you want to back the car very fast, or you want to put the drive gear very fast, and it has got a lag, and sometimes it doesn't respond. So response is very slow. So this is a sensor or a software problem which Tata can easily overcome. So I mean, this is a big handicap in crowded places. So I've got used to this, but still, I mean, it's a big hassle. And rest everything is good. The AC controls are also good, and they're coming to the steering. I mean, steering has good audio controls. Few more buttons are required, but again, the cost cutting, Tata has not given it. They should have given a gear selector over here also. All the good EVs are giving it, but Tata is not giving good selector. And coming to this odometer is, I mean, nothing great about it, but one thing which I want to tell you, see over here, I've driven it for 34,319 kilometers. So I mean, it's a very practical review which I am giving. Nobody else can give, because I've kept this car for 1.5 years and I've driven it for 34,000 kilometers. So I mean, I am in a position to give you a very honest and a very practical review which others can't. Now, this odometer is showing 48% and 74 kilometers. This is exactly the range you get. So you just double it. So it is around 140, 150 kilometers, 150, 160 kilometers. This is exactly the range you'll get, and it's a very practical range. And Tata says that on a full charge, it will go for 315 kilometers, but it is not the case. It will never go 315 kilometers. Even it will not show that it will go 350 kilometers. Maximum it will show is 220, 225 kilometers on odometer screen, and that too under ideal condition, that you have to drive it at 50 kilometers per hour, and you have to switch off the AC. Who drives at 50 kilometers per hour and who drives with the AC switch off? So that ideal condition will never come. So ideally, you cannot drive it more than 180 kilometers on any given day. So odometer, and another thing is that 1 kilometer of this odometer is not equal to exactly 1 kilometer. So I drive a Toyota car, and that Toyota car is 1 kilometer of Toyota car on odometer is roughly equal to the 1 kilometer, and I mean, it varies according to your driving style. But Tata is lagging. The calibration of this odometer is not good. 1 kilometer over here is not equal to exact 1 kilometer. So if it is showing 74 kilometers, then definitely it will go only 55 to 60 kilometers. So whatever range it is showing over here, you have to subtract 20% or 25% from it. So this calibration error is, it's not a very big issue, but still it is not very accurate. So Tata should be more accurate on this. And as I told you, with all these deficiencies, it is a very good car. It's a very good drive also. The cutting is very good. Driving very smooth. And it's an EV car, so the sound is very less. Driving is very pleasurable. It is very smooth. So on that front, it is very good. And you get this car for only 10 lakh rupees. So that is also an advantage, that at this price, you're not getting good cars. The only competitor is MG Comet, but that car is little small and it has got less features than this EV. Otherwise, inside that car is good, but still it is a less powerful car than this. So at this price range of 10 lakh rupees, this EV is good. And Tata has deliberately taken out few features for the higher variants and to sell Nexon also. So that is also their aim. So that is why this EV has not got all the features which we normally expect in an event. But at 10 lakh price, it's a good car. You can buy, and it's a pleasurable car. And I'm coming to another important part is servicing. This car doesn't need much servicing. So after first free servicing, you can always go to aftermarket and the multi-brand cars. And because this doesn't have an engine, it has got a motor. So if it doesn't have an engine, so there's no need to change air filters. And change engine oil. What it needs to be changed is gear oil and brake oil. So if you open the bonnet, then the container of brake oil and gear oil are easily visible. So you can top up the oil in that, and then you have to check the brakes. So braking system you have to check, and sometimes this showroom people, they fool you, and then from workshop you get a call that sir, you have to change your air filter. So air filter doesn't need change every time. You can clean the air filter by air, by high pressure air, but to earn more money, the service person will ask you to change the air filter. So you can always say no, you clean the air filter by air, but they are very reluctant to do so. So and then there's no need for alignment and wheel balancing, because this can be done at outside market and at very cheap rates. So I mean, best thing to own a EV is cost cutting. So you can cut your cost on servicing part, and then see, I've driven for 34,000 kilometers, so I've roughly saved around 2 lakh rupees. You save 7 rupees per kilometer, roughly around 7 rupees per kilometer. And for this, to charge this vehicle, you don't need a 7 kilowatt charger. The big charger takes a lot of load, and then I use a 3 kilowatt charger, and I charge it. This vehicle gets charged in roughly around 6 to 7 hours, and it is enough. You put it at the night, and in the morning gets charged. And if you use a 7 kilowatt charger, then definitely the charging speed is high, and it gets charged in 1 hour. But then you have to increase your house load, because 7 kilowatt load is too much. 3 kilowatt charger is it is suitable for me. It is because I mean, in any house nowadays there are 3 or 4 ACs, so yeah, definitely you have a 8 kilowatt or 10 kilowatt connection. So 3 kilowatt you can manage. So if you use a 3 kilowatt charger, then you don't need to buy increase the load of the electricity connection in your house. And the rest, everything is good. I mean, this is I already told you that at 10 lakh rupees, it's a very good buy. And I also got subsidy, which you will not get. So I mean, drive wise, everything is okay. So I mean, the disadvantages which I am telling you, Tata may improve in future, and it is in their hands, because they've got Jaguar and technology, so they can definitely improve. Because styling is definitely better now in Tata, but still, I mean, the urge of keeping some features for the higher variant or the higher model, that is basic Indian mentality of our car manufacturers, so that will not go. So thank you so much, and thank you so much, my small cameraman Aram. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.